Let's jump into the Waxhaw area because we always talk about the northern suburbs a lot. Huntersville, Mooresville. We don't really talk about the southern towns too much, right? Do you feel like Waxhaw is now that perfect place to live with the 30-minute drive? Or because they don't have the infrastructure so far, a lot of one-lane roads and things like that down there, do you feel that it's too many traffic jams to be worth it?
Is it the perfect place? I mean, it literally just depends on what you're looking for. If you want to be close to the city, but you really want that more like country and really suburban, like living away from the city kind of feel, this could be you. But if you have to heavily commute to the city, you might want to rethink it.
Okay, why do you say rethink it?
Well, because the only way to really get, or the best way to get to Charlotte is through Providence Road, and it's like a two lane road at some point going in and out of Waxhaw, right? And we just talked about the crazy growth that the city or the town was experiencing. Let's say it continues to grow, which it is. At what point are they going to build up the infrastructure so you have better commute into the city? So until now, you have a two-lane road taking you to Charlotte.
So do you
And Providence, even so, let me ask you at this too. Providence Road is already going to be congested when it turns into a two-lane on both sides. So I mean, there you have it.
So do you think, right? Because if you're moving that far down south or just that far away from the city, you're looking for some type of small town living, right? Do you feel like you can still get the small town living with the traffic jams? Because even like when me and you was down there, like we knew if we don't leave at a certain time, we're gonna be stuck down there for some time. So do you feel like you can still get the small town living with the congestion that it's experiencing right now?
I think so. I think right now, Waxhaw, you still get that small town kind of feel because if you go downtown, it's very quaint. There's a few places literally quaint is probably the best way to describe it, and you can still you will get it there. I think if you're looking to small town feel, I think Waxhaw will deliver.
Okay. Do you think that growth is sustainable or is it growing too fast?
I think it's sustainable as long as it's planned out. I mean, I'm sure that the town of Waxhaw knows what's going on. I mean, let's say as we serious all around Charlotte is experiencing pretty heavy growth, right? Waxhaw is obviously included in that, so I'm sure that they're going to account for the growth that they had and they continue to have. The only thing that may slow down their growth in Waxhaw, my opinion, is prices of homes, and we're going to get into that because it's not necessarily a cheap place to live.
Let's get into it, man. You already said it. So let's get into it. This is good though. This is good. Year to date, right? Year to date, Kev. $861,000. Now there's a variety of price points, right? So you hit it right on the head, right? $861,000, variety of price points. Even where we were, I think it was called Alma Village or something like that. We found stuff in the 3 to 500 range, right? A little bit further. But then you also have those 1.5, $3 million estates that you can have down there. And I looked up some stats. Out of the last 6 months, right? 382 homes, 62 of them were under $500,000. The beautiful part about Waxhaw, as me and you know, maybe the viewers don't know, but the average acre of lot down there was 0.81. The median was 4 tenths. So you do get a really good lot size. You really do get a good lot size for your price point, right? Because even if you talk about the city, I mean, a lot of them houses you don't even get a quarter of an acre. So I say that to give you the question of this: do you feel that that price point is worth that premium for the country feel? Like, does it have baked in genuine value for the land, for the house that you get, for the small town living? Because that's a lot, almost $1 million for a small town. You know what I'm saying?
Uh, I think so, and here's why I think so. Like you said, you get a good piece of land, right, in a town that's growing, increasing in value with good school systems attached to it, with still a semi-close proximity to Charlotte, right? Now, if you have that size home and that piece of land in the city of Charlotte, you would talk good chunk of change, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, you can find something. Obviously, we said what about 860K is what the average price is, right? That is, you can get a good and nice house inside the city of Charlotte as well. So Waxhaw is not a place if you're looking for affordability. Waxhaw is a place that you want to go to. You want to be outside the city. You want to get a country feel. You want to have the possibility of good schools for your kiddos. You want to be in a place that, you know, has a little downtown area with easy commute to the city. Then yes, that is.
Okay. And I think another thing that's going for it too is the taxes, right? Taxes in Union County versus Mecklenburg County. So for some numbers real quick, Union County, you're only talking about 0.385, right? Now, for all you guys who don't know, we have assessed values by the $100 here. So let's say you got a $500,000 home, you're gonna divide that by $100 to get you 5,000. Times that by 0.385, that's going to get you somewhere around $2,000 with the fire tax as well. Mecklenburg County is sitting at between, depending on what side of Charlotte that you're in, you're looking at between 0.770 and 0.8032. So you're looking at anywhere between $3,850 in taxes a year or $4,016 per year. So you do almost, especially if you like that South Park, South Charlotte area, you're looking at almost half for the same assessed value when you're talking about Union County to Mecklenburg County. So would the tax savings be worth it in that case with the land, but still factoring in the commute? Do you feel like the taxes are like, hey, these taxes are almost half? Is that a great enough incentive to move down there? Or what's your thoughts on that?
I think it's a great incentive if you don't have to commute often.
Ooh, okay, okay.
If you do have to commute often, it just depends on everybody's threshold. If you have to commute to Uptown every single day, you know, if you think about it, do you want to save let's say, I'm just going to ballpark numbers here, 2 grand on taxes a year, but you want to spend 2 hours in traffic every day? Is that worth it to you? To some people, it might be worth it. To some people that have a family that want to get home to them, or, you know, have a busy life outside of it, it might not be worth it. You know, you really just have to kind of look at what you prioritize and what season of life you're in right now, and then say, yes, it's worth it or it's not worth it. So for me, no way in hell.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I agree with you there because I'm not running, especially, man. It's so much going on all the time in Charlotte downtown. You can't predict that traffic. It's no way in heck you can predict that traffic. On a random Tuesday, you cannot predict that traffic. So I definitely agree. If I'm living in Waxhaw, I'm working either remote or close to the Waxhaw area. I definitely agree. And for sure, you're not working in Huntersville living in Waxhaw. Like, you got to be out your mind.
Do not do that to yourself.
At all, man, at all. So I agree with that. Now, we talked about schools a little bit. Union County Schools, Waxhaw down there. Marvin Ridge, for a lot of you that don't know, is 97% on U.S. News. I mean, the Union schools are some of the best schools in the South Charlotte area, specifically though Marvin Ridge. This is a great school. They're number 5 in all of Charlotte Metro, and they're number 19 in all of North Carolina. So it's a very, very good school. My problem is, especially right now, with the growth that they're seeing so fast, so suddenly, right? There's a 22-to-1 student ratio already, right? Can this school, Marvin Ridge, just in particular as an example, can they maintain that same quality with the amount of people flooding in there? You already 22-to-1, Kev. That's a lot of students per one teacher. Right. Do they maintain that high accuracy? Do they maintain that standard that they have right now? Especially when it says shortage of teachers. What's your thoughts on that?
Obviously, I'm not on the school council or anything like that, but from my perspective, I think there's 2 ways this could play out. One, there's going to be a long waiting list for people to get into the school, right? If it keeps growing, be like, yes, you are waiter, or you are number 1,156 on our list. We'll call you in 10 years. Or because of the influx in population, right, which also means more dollars are going to get spent in Waxhaw, property taxes, gas, just all that good stuff, which then goes back into the county, which then hopefully gets allocated some more to fund schools, programs, teachers, all that good stuff, salaries, which then maybe allows for them to expand, keeping the same quality, but being able to expand and let in more students. I mean, there's literally only two ways it could play out. So, I mean, if Waxhaw wants to grow, and because of the schools, it's why people choose to go there, I would assume they're going to go with the latter, but hey.
I understand. I understand. And then that too, a lot to me that invokes more of a community feel too, man. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of pushes that threshold. I don't believe I know we talked about this in the last one, but I don't believe Waxhaw is gonna lose that community, that charm, that commercialized feel to me. Like, they're not building that many apartment complexes and stuff like down there. Like so many people own their homes, it would take decades for that to turn around. Do you kind of feel the same way with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Waxhaw, they're trying to preserve that.
Yeah.
That kind of feel.
Right.
Right.
And that's
So
one of the last few
they
too.
want to stay like that as long as they can.
Yeah.
But it might forever. So
Yeah, I will hope so. I mean, it's tough to preserve those buildings though, man. Especially in downtown. I mean, all of them is from, 1901. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being funny, but
Yeah,
a lot of those buildings are old, man, with the train tracks coming through. I wonder if they make that whole thing a park.
make it a park.
Like rip up those old train tracks. I know it's historic and all that stuff though, but eventually they got to get rid of it, man. Like, you know what I'm
don't
saying?
think they
You don't think they're
will.
going to do it?
No, I don't think
Nah.
they will ever get rid of them
Yeah,
because
too-
it's historic. I think they're going to preserve it as long as they can. I don't think they're going to change that downtown at all.
At all? Okay.
No, I don't think so because if you want to change it and modernize it, then just go to Charlotte.
True. Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And I think because it's historic and the zoning is probably going to change like that. It's going to stay like that.
Right. Okay. I can see that. I would like to see more grass though, Kev. I'm not gonna lie to you on that.
I mean, they probably may have parks, but it won't be. Well, maybe a bit there. Maybe they'll find a piece of land somewhere, or like behind the downtown somewhere, that they
Yeah.
can turn into a park or something.
Yeah. Understood, man. Understood. All right. Last couple of questions, man. We're gonna get out of here. If a new person was moving there, right? Do you feel that you can describe this town as hey, you're buying your land, you kind of reserve to yourself on this land? Or, right, you have, this is a straight community feel. Yes, you have the land that you're kind of using and you own, but everybody's outside in one location or three locations downtown outside of the farmers market on every single Saturday, every single Friday, every single Sunday. Like, what would you give that perspective to?
I think it's a community. Because at Waxhaw, even downtown, they do have community events going on pretty much throughout the entire year, especially summer, right? Concerts, music, movies, stuff like that. So I think if you move there and you are looking for that kind of pace in your life, the more slower, small town kind of feel, more relaxing, no hustle and bustle, I think this could be a great community for you. That's what I think. Obviously you have your land to kind of retreat and do your own thing, right? But if you want to get out and about but keep it low key, I think Waxhaw can deliver.
I like that, man. I like that. I can agree there, especially if they preserve it as much as possible, right? Especially if they preserve that as much as possible.
Devontae, I have a question for you, man. Okay. So, let's say we have somebody that wants to move to Waxhaw, but they want to also look for a place that can give them a little bit of diversity as far as different walks of life, economically, demographically, all that good stuff, right? So they can just mingle and they just love different people, cultures, and where they come from. Would you say that Waxhaw would be a place for that?
In a very short answer, no. And a longer answer, and here's the reason why I say that. Waxhaw is not diverse, right? To me, it's a nice area, like it's a friendly area. Like even when we was walking down there, and I only been down there a few times. Like I'm not down there often, you guys, so don't think I'm down there every day because I am not. But I mean, down everybody's nice, friendly. Economically speaking, not a lot of people, as we talked about before, can afford a $861,000 home. And again, guys, that's just year to date. So it's summertime now. That number is probably like 915, 925, hopping up there in a hot market like now. So economically speaking, I don't believe so. If you really just want to come here right away and drop yourself off into that diverse area and inclusion and things like that, you're not going to find that right away in Waxhaw. It'll probably be some time. I also think about too when you talk about economics, firefighters, people who, police officers, healthcare workers, and even teachers, like we talked about. Like that's on a teacher salary these days. I don't know what they make or don't make. That's got to be tough if you didn't buy your house 20 years ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? So straight from an economic standpoint, and then just saying, hey, you want to move here tomorrow and be in a diverse area, Waxhaw is not going to deliver on that today. Maybe in a few years or so when they get more people heading down there. But as of now, I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Yeah. So, as always, you guys, we really hope you enjoyed this kind of honesty on the Waxhaw point. I mean, there's a lot more good than bad going on down there. It's really small town, country, suburban style living. You're gonna have some pockets for it. If not, you're probably gonna be in that renter area. You can find a few things under that $500,000 mark. They're slim, but you can find it. If possible, I would jump on it ASAP. Now, if you guys want to put more visuals to this, make sure you guys go check out the Waxhaw vlog that me and Kev did a few months ago. Check that out. That'll give you a lot more visuals of that we're talking about in this particular honest review. Now, before we get out of here, Kev, any of your famous last words?
Yeah, again, we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to call Waxhaw home or anywhere in Charlotte, we love to be part of that journey as well. So shoot us an email, give us a call, whatever it is to get in touch with us. We'll be there for you. Until next time, peace.